Hi, welcome back to my Life with Plants. I'm Newman. Today, going to have a little bit of an update and a check on the orchids that I put inside for the winter. If you haven't seen that episode, then check it out. Probably 2 or 3 weeks ago now, and I got to bring them out and have a look. I'm going to do my best to move this camera around so that you can see what's going on, because I've got to put my back to you to be able to get in here. Alright, so because the environment's changed for them, you really need to have a look. So on go the glasses, and I looked at the camera and I got blinded. Alright, bring this one down. And green light. And I'm going to try to move it around here so you can see it. Try not to drop too much water, but this has been brought indoors, as it was outdoors on the balcony. There's this great root system going, and I've tried to keep it in this mini greenhouse here so that it can keep getting water when it needs, because I don't really have this one won't have much of a dry rest period, but it does have Neophonetia falcata in its heritage, and it has lovely green flowers that are fragrant. So some things that can happen when you bring them in, they can drop leaves. Now if they're the very, very lower ones, then that's fine, as long as it's not up higher. When that happens, there's a major problem. There's another Neophonetia leaf that came off. So this is the brassica, and according to culture, this doesn't have a period of dry rest. It just keeps on growing, and it does have these black bulbs at the bottom, but that is from the heat, because when you touch them there's no mushiness whatsoever. So definitely that was sunburned at some point. This is a gift from a friend, and I've tied this pot on it because it's starting to grow outside of the pot. It's got some nice roots, I can see. It's a healthy plant. I think it appreciates this moist, humid environment over the winter. So I'm hoping these roots grow into this sphagnum pot in this little pot, and then it'll help it along a little bit when I have to repot it. But definitely it's grown outside of it, and I'm going to have to cut some off and grow a new plant. So it hasn't flowered, by the way. I did give it a good feed. Whoa, the leaf dropped off. That's what I mean about bringing them out. Bring them out to inspect them. Yeah, it's no problem whatsoever. It has put out all these new growths during the summer. It's got one here. Of course, these other ones are still growing on the other side of it. Epidendrum falcatum. So it did have some kind of bacteria thing that got on the leaf, on the tip of it. So now it's time to give it a snip. I have to snip that. Not sure why it succumbed to it, because it is hanging and the water can just run straight off it. And we're going to deal with that right now. without hesitation, because I'll forget. So a sulfur-based fungicide, and it isn't harmful to wildlife, butterflies and bees, but it is a fungicide, and I put it on direct with the powder. Right, off you come. And that one. There's no use keeping it there, it's already dying. I don't know why I'm shaking this bottle of alcohol spray. I don't need to. Just a habit. Isopropyl alcohol. 100%. Right. It's better. Oh well. Got a little bit of a leaf cut there, but it doesn't affect the bulb, which was it'll still grow and develop that, hopefully. I was lucky to pick this one up. Very lucky. Okay, let's just leave it here because I've got to check some other plants that are hanging up in there too. So let me just put this one down. Right, and I got to take this one out, which is Leptotes bicolor. Last year Leptotes bicolor just would get water every now and then. I'm trying to give it a little bit more than last year, and because this is part of learning. Last year my setup was relatively the same. I had all of these plants in here, but I wasn't able to water them as much. But now the case is different. I'm able to mist them every morning, and what this is doing is giving me some more experience, because these plants, even though they can come from areas where they get a drier period for a few months, it's still, if you look at the photos of these plants in habitat, you'll notice that it's green. There'll be green mosses growing on the tree along it, and this is an indication of humidity, and humidity is everything for plants. I think I talked about that before. It's something that's overlooked. People see humidity, but they don't actually understand its implications. So if you have high humidity and you have cool conditions that are not too hot, you can grow quite a lot more orchids than you think. But when you have low humidity, that causes a lot of problems for growing orchids in particular. And it's the same. I grow with cacti and succulents, and I will have cacti that will never grow well, even if I underwater them, try to keep them dry. If the humidity is too high, there will be certain species that I just can't grow, no matter what I do. And there'll be others that thrive. And it's to do with humidity. It's always the humidity. It's the biggest number one line factor. So in here we got more humidity than we had last year. So this is a learning curve for me to see the results, because we all know that they come from areas with humidity that's relatively high, and there are exceptions to the rule, one of them being the Savila. Some of those, they come from areas that get dry during the winter. And the best way to get around that, well, to learn about it, is to actually have a look at some YouTubers that live in Brazil, and they do their videos where they roam around the countryside. And I watched one episode with a YouTuber in Brazil, and I'll put his link up here on the screen. Jao, I think his name's Jao, and he was busy walking through rivers in Brazil, these extensive rivers, and they're very low during the late winter. I think he said the late winter, they're very, very low, and he was able to cross a lot of the rivers. All the rivers are broken up into different sections, all running away from each other, and it's relatively a flat rocks, not like sharp and rocky and got a lot of boulders. It's quite smooth with the water running, and is able to cross over to these Brasovilas. You got to check that out. It was magnificent seeing that. I'm going to put this Totes bicolor in a slightly different position, just so it's not banging into Brasovila here. This Brasovila was outside hanging under a tree, conifer tree. And in between each waterings, it would dry right out, so it was definitely not overwatered at all. Observation pays off. Because right here I have rot. Rot discovered. It's just teaching me something. Spray that isopropyl alcohol straight on the. We have a bulb here that was rotting. You can see there. So this environment is nice and humid, like it likes it, provided with water, but it wasn't drying out enough. And the water had gotten down inside of it and caused some rot, which is, luckily I saw that in between those sheaths there. So what was a dead giveaway was the leaf that I picked up. See there? Because this leaf is off a immature bulb, which didn't make sense. Okay, so what we have here is the case of this plant not able to withstand these conditions that these other plants are, so it's going to be moved. The lavender at the back here is fine. No problems. Okay. Now I've got to put back this. And be careful with the watering. Even though I'm just spraying them. And I've taken the brassica out, so the brassica is now in a different place where it won't get hurt. Okay, next up, let's have a look at this one here, which is pretty moist. As you can see all this moss in here. Just going to adjust my legs a little bit. Oof. Hope you can see what I'm doing. Just let me spray my scissors here after cutting that rotten bulb. Then when I'm finished, I will clean up properly. It's a shame I lost that bulb. There was a possible area there where it could have flowered. Okay, this one doesn't have the sheaths in it to trap moisture quite like the brassica there. This is Cattleya lundi. 1, 2, 3, 4. Four growths coming away. This plant suffered 2 years ago when I was on the balcony, didn't like the heat, and then the advice that's always given is we'll give it some more water, you know, to keep it cooler. But that didn't work because it's not, you know, orchids get humidity, and the humidity is what the roots get their moisture from. It's not getting soaked with water and sitting in it. It's the humidity that comes up from the forest floor or the jungle floor, and it goes into their root system. And the moss that grows on the tree trunks and around the orchids is a sign of the humidity levels. Because moss is almost like a lithophite, and you can just go straight up on rock. Doesn't need soil at all, but it requires one thing, and that's humidity. So this is looking really good. We've got no issues with it. It hasn't reached out for help by dropping some of its leaves, because once it does that, it rings the alarm bells for the grower. They come in and they investigate on their plant. This is a must-do job while cultivating plants. Lavender, and it's an old leaf. This is Lucernary, and it's been getting more moisture than it did last year when it came in, and hopefully these roots are well hydrated. Even wrapping around the pot, that was when it was on the balcony. Is it appreciating being in this new environment where it gets a little bit more water? Or could it be detrimental to its health and kill it? So one point I'm going to make is if you don't have grow lights and you have overcast days, and vandas being things that need water to keep hydrating the roots, you should skip those days. Because they like to dry out pretty quick. It's looking fine. Yeah. What else can I say? I'm going to put that one down. It dropped off. It's pretty moist because it's dripping on the floor here. Going by the way it's looking now, it's been over watered. It's on the over watered side because it has these new growths that are coming out and they are dying off. And every time I look at this plant on the internet, it has all of these lovely flowers on it and doing really well, and for me it's been a plant that either grows at some point and then dies at some point. So it's a non-stop battle. Definitely overwatered. Overwatered. You see this part here has died. It has two offsets that come off here that have died back. It's got another one there, another one. But its other one that I've mounted is of course doing much better. There's one bulb that's rotted off. The mounted one is much better than the potted. The potted one is doing far worse than the mounted plant. I have no idea how people can grow orchids in pots. You can see how much trouble I have with the plants that are actually in a pot, and every time I bring something that's mounted, I have the least problems. And the thing is that it's making this difficult is the humidity again. When you have humidity that drops, like here during the winter, I mean outside it can get to the point that it's almost like semi-desert. And then you want to keep these plants doing well that demand this high humidity all the time. And the only way you can do it is to put them on mounts. In a pot is just too difficult. Well, I'm starting to kill this plant. So, what to do? What to do? I have potted and I have mounted all in the same area, which means that anything that's mounted can have water every day because it just loses the excess. And everything that's in a pot will get extra water when it doesn't need it because it's soaking into the media. So the only thing to do with this is to move it away from that area altogether. And it's offset that I have that I've been growing on a mount. That one can stay there. But we're going to take a look at that so we can compare how it's been growing compared to this one. It got plenty of water during the summertime when it was much hotter and it was able to grow fine. This is a different case, being a bit cooler now. It is a relatively large plant, so it's able to pull through. This won't kill it. We'll just set it back a little bit. And what I'm going to do is, what will happen in the end eventually is that this will become cuttings that will be mounted. But yeah, it's going to move. This one is mounted, and you can see that it has no rotting issues, anything like that. When it dries out, I give it a spray of water. Catlianthe Fairyland Poo Poo. It's mounted on a branch that was cut off a maple tree. And this wood is pretty solid wood indeed. This particular Cattleya was growing on the balcony with the others, the larger ones, so it had to put up with the heat. It does have nice roots coming out, and new canes. All the telltale signs so far are indicating overwatering for sure. You can just see it. I could do with some more light as well. I'm not using grow lights. That's still on there. It was on when it was flaring at some stage, so they can come off. And I'm making a big mess. Cut that off. Old inflorescence. When you remove sheaths from pseudo bulbs, you got to be really careful, because if you remove them off the younger plants, you can make it flop over and break its own stem under its own weight. Okay. This one is the maxillaria. And there's a lot of leaves dropping off this too, which is an indication of overwatering. Yeah, all of these telltale signs indicating I got to really reduce the water, and that last year having less water like I was doing was the right way to go. This is not good. And my silence is an indication of my concern. Because there's nothing worse than an overwatered plant. How hard is that for them to bounce back from it? Okay, so the culture is going to be focused on keeping up humidity. So it'll be a very fine mist spray. Very, very fine and quickly. So that the medium is not getting soaked anymore. So this is not really soaked at all. It's just moist. So we're going to try that. That's what we're going to do. I don't think the setup is to blame. Not for these mounted plants. We're full of them now, which did really well. During the summer it was hanging underneath a shrub, and it was very humid there because I did the right thing. I had it hanging probably 15 centimeters from the garden soil, from the ground of the garden, and it was hanging underneath a nice shady shrub, and that seems to have made this plant real happy. Oberfillen frosty eye. I'll put that one back. Okay, I'm glad I took them all out. I was using my brain. Right. I really want to sell these Hoya bellas. I've got to get them out of my way all the time. Okay, next one we're going to look at is this Sologeny. I don't even know if I'm still on or not. Yeah, it's 43 minutes. We're really doing a lot. It's pretty moist too. And we have the possibility of rot. We just spotted on the bulb there. All right. But these plants, these Sologenies, are pretty good at repairing themselves from the onslaught of rot. Pretty good at that. And I might change the angle of my fan that's blown in the back there, just a little bit more this way. Just a bit. Next. What's this one doing? It's got a nice offset coming. Not looking too bad, looking pretty good. Maxillaria variabilis. This one's looking pretty good. Yeah, not bad. Okay, that about does it. So thanks for watching. This absolute mess on the floor that I must clean up. You can see it, because I didn't plan on this much disaster going on. But this is teaching me one thing, and that's to reduce the watering. I've been watering with this gun here, and what I need to do is just make it very light, very lightly. I mean, not trying to aim it at them and try to rehydrate all the way around. I just got to put it on a fine mist setting and just lightly go over, because it's just too much. and ultimately the humidity is what keeps them growing and healthy, so we'll concentrate on that. Yep, all done. We've done the update now and seen how these plants are going. There's just a couple of more there, but I'm pretty sure that they're fine, they're doing well, and I'm going to turn this one around to give it the light on the correct side of it instead of the back of it. And until next time, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next time. There's my Gastrotrilus japonica, which is absolutely fine because that's on a mount. And we were going to show you these ones at the back here, and I've totally forgotten, so we better do that before we sign out. Okay. So we're going to move this one. I kind of don't like disturbing everything. Alright. This one here. This is a Porpex, Epidendrum porpex, and you are overwatered. I had to chip that little bit out because it was black and scared me a bit. So I know you're overwatered even though you're on a mount. And next up, we got it out the first time. Great. Okay, this is Daneba polybertha, the one that's rotting. You see this one's doing much better. There's no mistake about it that mounting is the way to go with these little guys. So it's doing fine. Doing nice. I'm going to stop my watering habits. Cool with these plants. Light watering is just the way to go. I bumped something. I don't know what I bumped. This is Dendrobium linguiforme or Docarilla. And that one's looking really great. Okay. I don't know if the heck moved. Did I do move? Something moved. And that'll be it. We can't do any more because I've nearly gone to an hour, and luckily I remembered to show you those. But I'm going to continue pulling stuff out and cleaning it up. And there's another one that keeps scaring me, and it's Pholidota chinensis. Every time I buy one, it gets these black tips.
Oh my God!
And I cut them off. And it's a battle between making it moist and letting it dry out. And if I let it dry out, it'll shrink and shrivel, and then I just can't bring it back from death. But I am giving it another go, so I consider that a tricky orchid, but we'll keep going and see what happens. Okay, that's it for now. Thanks for watching this episode, and it took a long time, and sorry about me being quiet sometimes, but I'm trying to concentrate on what I'm doing, but I'm also trying to share some information. So yes, definitely. Today the indoor temperature is about 18 or 19 degrees centigrade, and what I have to do is do light sprays and not wet them too much. So that's the overall conclusion I've come to. But I'm glad I did this. Yeah, otherwise I'd kill my plants, and I'd have to change my channel to kill my plants. And until next time, I'll see you. Thanks. Bye bye.